Hello, and welcome to Season 2 of A Product of Proverbs. I'm your host, Joshua Fowler, here with my co-host and dad, Reverend Roy Fowler. Season 2. So, for those of you that haven't been here for the entire journey, Season 1 was a ride. We had 20 episodes, and we had a couple of guests join us. Season 2, I don't even know how to set it up because it's not something to really set up. It'll be more of the same like Season 1. Conversations between me and my dad. Candid conversations on different topics. And we're going to be real honest and transparent. Something that our listeners like because people in our positions usually aren't as transparent and honest as we are on this show. So I hope you enjoy. And with that, let's get into today's show. What's up, Dad?
Not much, Josh. Just glad to be back. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, we had a nice little break there. You know, we took the summer off just about. I forgot exactly when we stopped recording.
I think it was Mother's Day. Is that when Daniel came and all of us were together?
That was it.
And we had all the family on that episode. I think that was the last one we had. And I think we did one after that.
I actually took that episode down, a burning house episode.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to go back up as a part of Season 2, but I was in a process that I didn't want that to be my first impression.
Yeah, that was a little intense.
Exactly. So
yeah.
I was going through something in which the reputation was being looked at closely, and luckily, if you actually go search through my life and my experiences, it's not like I'm a ridiculous human. I've actually been around or on a pretty decent path, you know? So I was going through that process. I took that episode down, but it will be coming back in Season 2. But we're here and we're back. For those of you that are joining us on Instagram Live, it wasn't planned. We didn't announce it. We just happened to be on live. You'll see our new studio set up. So as I said in the last couple of episodes, or actually, as I said since around day one, we were going to have a studio. I was going to have it nice and set up. I was going to have a big paint and nip up there. And we got the whole thing going. We have a nice just area for us to be creative and have a product of Proverbs, a nice little business space. You see the calendar over there where we can put when things will be released and keep our schedule up to date. We have a clothes rack with some of our supporters. I don't even call them sponsors because they show love to us. We show love to them. We have Blessed in Black up there. We have Brass Droppers up there. And we have the Forgive Co. up there. So just people that show love to the podcast and we show love back. So they made it to the studio. And for those of you that have brands and have projects and have things going on, send me a link. You know me, I always show love and support. Most of my t-shirts are actually shirts I bought from people, whether it's their business or a fundraiser, and that's where I build my collection off unique pieces like that. So if you got something going on, send it my way and we'll show love. I might even buy two, one to hang up in the podcast studio and one to rock. But other than that, let's just go ahead and get it out the way because you know we got to talk about it. It's going to be there, but I'm not going to let it consume our podcast. Coronavirus. How you holding up?
I guess I'm doing okay. Just trying to stay alert, stay safe, practice the safe things, try to do the best that I can to help myself and help others as well. But it's gone on a little longer than I thought, but I know we still probably have a long way to go. But we just got to keep our head on straight. You got to find things that can allow you to stay focused because it's easy to get sidetracked by what's going on and all the news that we're bombarded with. It's real easy to get sidetracked. So you've got to find some things that can help you to stay safe and to stay sane. And I'm doing that.
And that's all you need to do. Anything you can do to stay safe. The coronavirus, as you know from when it first popped off in some earlier episodes and my tone throughout the whole thing, I haven't taken it as seriously as I probably should have. I haven't been reckless just because I'm a hermit anyways and just be in the crib, minding my business. That's just kind of normal practice. But I didn't really look at the disease and the whole thing as being real. I knew it was real and it was a virus and it was, I didn't think it was pandemic level. I didn't think it was so widespread. And so because I only heard and read about it on the internet, I never saw anything or saw or heard anyone I know with real experiences around it and like it until I did. And then now it becomes a very real thing. So I've been social distancing the whole time. I've been masking. I brought some black masks because I couldn't do the blue surgical masks. They just wasn't swaggy enough for me. They wasn't fitting in my... On Instagram Live, y'all can see him shaking his head, but it's COVID, man. Like my CEO said, we reached the point where you get that work from home fatigue, where at first it was something new when you're exploring it, and then you're getting used to it, then you get comfortable in it, then you get settled in it, and it's like it's a new stage of adapting and a new part of that journey. So I don't know. We just gotta, like you said, move forward, find something to keep you pushing and something to keep it moving. That actually is the perfect lead into the topic of today's episode. So for those of you that are on the Instagram Live, you can see my shirt, and I'm wearing a Georgia Tech shirt. I'm not a football fan. I'm not a big Yellow Jacket fan. If I watch college basketball, more than likely I'm watching Furman or I'm watching Duke. But in line, like you said, of staying focused and moving forward, I recently started my MBA program at Georgia Tech. So like I said earlier, I was going through a process, the admissions process for Georgia Tech. So sending in my resumes, sending in essays, sending in transcripts, letters of recommendation. It was a fun ride, especially because it was so accelerated. So if you know me, you know that I've always said, never going back to school.
Yep.
Granny said, I never thought I'd live the day to see you back in school. And I'm like, well, I always said never, but never say never. Just because you never know what's going to happen. You never know that COVID's going to open a door and present an opportunity to you. You never know where your mind's going to be or what type of mentality switches you'll have during different stages of life. So you really can never say never. And so I decided I wanted to get my MBA. I said, I've sat at home for the last couple of months. I sit at home anyways. I'm not really doing anything. And what it really came down to is I was about to spend around $70,000 on a sports car. And I said, wait, if I can spend $70,000 on something that's going to cost me, why can't I spend $70,000 on something that's going to pay me? I was going to put all this money down to buy a house. If you guys remember from the last one, I was townhouse shopping and condo shopping and all of this stuff. And I said, wait, it's an asset and it's an investment, but why would I spend this money on something that I have to pay for every month instead of spending this money on something that will pay me? And I had a conversation, just a random conversation with the COO of my company. And he said, you know what? I think that an MBA would really take your career and just life to the next level, from what you talk about on your podcast to your business mindset to what you do at work here. I just think that you're like the perfect candidate for that MBA, and you're 26 years old. You can be done by before 30. MBA before 30 should be a goal for you because that's going to set up the next 20 to 30 years of your life to autopilot, to coast. And then I took it seriously. So I decided, I knew I wasn't going to move. I like where I work. So I said, I'm either going to go to Emory or Georgia Tech. It was the top programs in Georgia, top 10 programs nationally. And knowing I went to Georgia State for undergrad, I didn't really try, like I didn't try at undergrad, but I knew I wanted to try and really go hard for the MBA. So ended up deciding for cost, really ROI, looking at I'm going to pay for this, what will I get back? The ROI at Tech seemed to just make more sense to me than the ROI at Emory. So I said, let's do it. When I first decided to apply, I thought I was applying for spring 2021. So I thought, okay, I'll start in the spring. I'll get all my stuff together now, let this fall semester pass, and then jump in. And one of my frat brothers was like, the deadline is in 2 weeks, and they're waiving the application fee. Why not just try fall? Mind you, I haven't studied for a GRE, a GMAT. I haven't applied for financial aid. People are already getting ready to register for classes, and I'm like, I might go to school. But he was right. The application fee is waived. You can apply for the waiver. I said, let's see what we can do. And now I'm starting classes at Georgia Tech on August 17th. And that's just crazy to think about because on June 1st, I had no idea I was going to get an MBA. And August 17th, opportunity just happens to be here. So today we're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about the importance of education, our educational journeys, and we're just going to get into it on why we need to take this seriously. I'm deciding to finally take it seriously. We'll talk about the fun that you had with me not taking school seriously all those years. I know those have to carry fond memories.
Yeah, you're right about that. I don't know if the audience ready for all that or not, because we used to go around. Because I always knew you had it. I always knew you were the person that could go a long way educationally. I knew that. And you just, I couldn't get you to see it. I saw it, but I couldn't get you to see it. And I'm not surprised that we're talking about this today. I'm not surprised that you're going for your MBA, because it was in you, and you're going to do great things. I've always told everybody, me and your mother always talked about it, never worried about it, because I knew that you would be able to make it, because you've got it, and I know you're going to stick to, and you're going to do well through this program, and you're just going to do okay. We're excited, and we're very proud of you for that. But education, I always said it's the key, and you always argue. What's the use in this? It's not good. I'm not learning anything. I'm just going through the motions. And I always told you, but it provides opportunities for you. It sets you up. When you do it right, it gives you discipline to help you navigate life and business and different things. So that's some of the benefits and the importance of it. And yeah, this is a good day.
It's all about the keys. Like you said, keys open doors, and you have keys to access certain opportunities that you wouldn't be able to access. And that's honestly why I'm going back to school, because I've been able to see throughout my career how jobs I could get while I was in college compared to the jobs I could get when I graduated college, and the jobs I can get just graduating college compared to the jobs I can get with the certification. Seeing how my income kind of rises at such an accelerated rate when you take those intentional steps. I said, well, this MBA is going to really take it to the next level, really be a very large jump, and really give me more access to give back, because I joke about it all the time, but I make more than enough money to take care of myself. Think about when I make more money, I don't need more to take care of myself. That's money that I can use to give back, to build businesses, to employ people, to give back in the community. Because when you have more money, when you have a better position, you have more time to be able to actually be foot on the ground doing things. When you're not at those positions, you kind of got to be there and have certain obligations, but you buy yourself more flexibility with more experience, with more kind of certification, with more keys. So it was really important to get the keys to open that next level of doors. And when you have someone that has those keys and has walked through those doors tell you, hey, you should think about getting this key, that's a no-brainer,
And the thing is, you got to understand the opportunities that it gives you. And it's not, it was a couple of episodes we talked about the difference between a goal and a wish. Is a plan, right? It's a wish if you don't have a plan. So you can forget it being a goal. And that's how it is. So you got to prepare. you see where you want to go and what do you want to do? Well, it takes preparation and it takes determination. It takes a will to do, and you got to stick with it. But you got to look at the goal, and that's how goals work. You know, everybody said, I want this. Okay, what are you planning? How are you going to arrive at that? It's not just going to fall out of the sky. You've got to prepare for that. That means you got to take advantage of opportunities. One of the things that this COVID-19 presented to you was an opportunity to think. And see, there's some positive that comes out of any situation, and gave you time and gives you time, your listeners. We should have taken some time to really think, and you can make some different, make some adjustments, some goals, see where you are, where you want to be, and then figure out what can you do to get to where you want to be. And that's what we can still do. It's not too late. It's never too late. Never too late. I would encourage you to do that, because there's plenty of opportunities, but it's going to take preparation. Things, take time and prepare. Like you said, your CEO said by the time you're 30, you'll be through with your MBA, well on your way, and you're still young, got a whole lot of life ahead of you.
Really, it comes down to what you look at the definition of success as. Success is when opportunity meets preparation. So opportunity passes you a lot of times, but opportunity might be there and you're not prepared. It might be a nice lick. It might be a great deal, but you ain't got the money at the time. So you wasn't prepared. You wasn't prepared to take advantage of that opportunity. But when you are prepared and the opportunity presents itself, at that point, you're successful. You got to stay on your P's and Q's and stay on top of it so that when that opportunity comes, you don't miss it. Because that's the worst. Then you got to live with regret. You got to live with regret, like, oh man, I had a great opportunity. I wasn't even prepared for it. Stay prepared so you don't even have to worry about that scenario.
And I think that staying prepared would be stay active and engaged. Don't be slothful and lazy, careless, without a purpose. Have some ideas that you want, some goals that you want. That is very important. And that will always, if you have that before you, you'll live things that put you in that place. Now, you might not be ready for every opportunity that comes your way, but I promise you, you'll be ready for more if you live that type of life than if you don't. You just can't sit around, lay around, play around, and think it's going to fall in your lap. It very seldom happens like that, And if you're not prepared, really, if it happens to fall in your lap, you're not ready to hold on to it because you won't have the discipline, and you won't be able to keep it anyway. So it just pays you to be alert. Going back to Proverbs wisdom, be like the ant and not like the grasshopper, who plays and not prepares. And the ant, he's always preparing, so when things happen, he's ready. And that's the way you got to be.
I was just about to say, let's reward our listeners that's been listening to us talk up until this point. And also, let's answer a question, because this is something that's big to me, is who are you? Why are you certified to tell me this? What have you done that makes you be able to speak this way or know this information? Because a lot of people get to talking and I don't believe you. I don't know where you got this from. I don't know if you really experienced this. I don't know who told you this. I don't know. So you kind of got to know who someone is, where someone is from, what they've done, how they've been over time. And that kind of validates and certifies not only their opinion, but like their advice. So we can actually jump into that and give the listeners a little piece of us. And I think this might be something that we do on every episode of season 2, is where we give the wisdom piece and then validate it. Say, this is why we think this way. This is how we came to this conclusion. So my educational journey, let's start very early. How old was I? 3 years old when I...
What are you talking about? What happened?
When about 3 years old when I started reading.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was funny. Like I said, he was very smart. We drive up to the church. I mean, he can barely talk, and he's already naming the people by their car out in the parking lot. And it was amazing, just how smart you were and how you could talk and how you knew who was in what car at such a young age. So you're very intelligent. But anyway, go ahead. I don't know what you was going to talk about.
I was gonna hit the highlight points.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
3 was a highlight. That's what I've been hearing my whole life as I was in pre-K, reading while the teacher could work on other stuff.
That's true. Yeah, you was helping kids.
One of the early highlights, let's skip forward. I remember middle school. So middle school is where it all went bad because I was a straight A student up until middle school. In the 7th grade, I got my first C. I was never a straight A student. I was A's and B's.
No, and it gave me fits. And you used to always say, well, why I gotta always make an A? And what did I say?
Because you can.
Because you could. And I always said this, I never expect you to do what you couldn't do, but I did expect you to do what you could. And if I didn't think you could do it, I wouldn't hold it over you. But yeah, I always said that.
A's and B's throughout. I would say probably later elementary school, early elementary school, everybody get A's. That's pretty much participation trophies. You just coloring and stuff. I stayed in the lines. Middle school, yeah, I got that first C in health. And y'all were so mad when I got that C because there was no reason. It was a 79 and it was health. Like, I don't even remember why I got the C, but I did. And it wasn't the end of the world, as I probably said back then. I guess really I was never that bad. I didn't get into too much trouble. I never got suspended. I never got OSS. Did I?
I don't think you did.
And if I did,
You would
I ain't
always
gonna tell y'all online.
You would probably just go up to the line. You knew where the line was, and you'd stand right at that line, and you would give the teachers fits because you would stay right at the line, and they hoping you would cross it, but you wouldn't.
That's pretty much the only bad part of my educational journey is the fact that I knew the line. I was kind of a little too aware of what was going on, and I still, unpopular opinion, think that a public school K through 12 is glorified daycare. We can have that debate on any forum you want, but yeah, other than going back and forth with a system that I wasn't taking seriously, I stayed in the all A and B range for the most part because I knew I was going to college. So I got to Georgia State. That's where I went to undergrad. There, I really just partied and had fun because, again, I knew I could get all A's and B's, and I just needed a piece of paper. My dad always told me my whole life that keys open doors, and I knew Georgia State had this nice piece of paper that had some gold on it. It had my name printed in there real nice and fancy, and that was a key that was going to open a door to me making a lot of money and buying a Corvette. So I went to Georgia State, and I enjoyed that ride, and then I used my key to open doors, and then I ran my tech world. So it's not really educational, but it's kind of career, but it was educational because my senior year of college, I did an internship. So I didn't really take a high paying role. I didn't go work for a lot of money. I went and worked the grunt work, the entry level work, the marketing intern. I didn't run and get nobody's coffee, but like it was the stuff you really don't want to do. I did that for a year, got my degree, and then was able to kind of navigate and climb that corporate ladder into the point where I had a company that would pay for my certification. So my project management certification, I'm a PMP, so I'm certified to manage projects across any industry. I can do construction projects, I can do tech software projects, I just understand the methodology of project management. And a company paid for me to take a class and take that test and get the certification. That means that you got to pay me more money. So I got that certification and immediately got another job that paid me more money for having that certification. And now I'm here where I'm going to get this MBA. That's kind of how my educational journey went, is looking at how do you use this system for your benefit. Because I always say that college isn't for everyone, school isn't for everyone, advanced education isn't for everyone, learning is for everyone. But a lot of those things aren't the most efficient way to learn. But they do provide opportunities. So that's kind of how my educational journey went. Tell the people about yours, because this is something
a little different.
But it was one that is so, I don't know, I take a lot of pride in it just because I see the hustle. I see the entire story, and I see the end goal. It's motivating because you see where you get certain certifications, you learn certain information, you get on certain projects, you take certain steps and certain initiative to continue to advance and go from a point to a point at the end. It's like, wow, that's a big jump with that work.
Yeah, that is true. But mine started different. And like you and your brothers, you had me and your mom that were pushing y'all, telling you about education. Well, we didn't really have that when I was growing up in the area I was. But I realized something that was a key. Aerospace, and my dad worked in aerospace, so I was familiar with Lockheed. He was in a union, and I understood that it was a machinist union, and Lockheed Martin was a machine shop because they made parts and airplanes and all of that. And I said, in high school, my senior year, I was researching what I want to do, and I wanted to be a machinist. And the only reason I wanted to be a machinist was because I wanted to work at Lockheed. And I knew if I would go to school and get my certification, get my degree, then I would be able to get a job at Lockheed and become a machinist. And so that's the route I took. So I ended up going to a technical school at first. And I did that. And as it progressed, I ended up doing that for a number of years. And when I got called into the ministry, I realized that now my reason for going to tech school was to be a machinist, to get a job. I knew that was my key to getting into Lockheed. And that was a big thing back then, almost 30, 40 years ago. That was a very big thing. So that's what I did. But when I got called into the ministry, I decided I need to get education for another reason. I wanted to get educated so I could better serve the people that God had placed me over. So I ended up going to Carver Bible School, Bible College. And that was a journey because here I am working a full-time job, parent, I'm a father, pastor, I have a church, and I take on this schooling. And I think y'all used to laugh how long it took me. It took me 6 years, but I had to do what I had to do. But the thing about it, I was willing to do that. But my reason was not to get a bigger church or get more money or anything like that. I just wanted to be better equipped to serve the people, which it served me well. I think it was exactly what I needed at the time. And after that, even now, I'm taking 2 classes, online seminary classes now, just to stay sharp and to stay active and to sharpen the skill sets so I could be more equipped to serve the people and to represent Christ. That's the whole thing about it. But that's my journey, and that's just how it's gone. And I think everybody in our house has some form of higher education. Well, I know we have. And that's kind of exciting. Mm-hmm. It's very exciting to me to see that and to know that. And the importance of it, because we've always pushed that. Education is the key. I had people always telling me, you got to learn. Learning. They always pushed learning. It's the key. Education is the key. Knowledge is the key. And that's something we've got to keep instilling into our people. And I think we've got 2 purposes here that I think both of them had sort of validity to them. Keys that you can advance up the ladder economically, which puts you in a position to become more able to help people along the way. And then the route I took was not only for economics to start, but just for improvement of myself and to increase my ability, my competence, and to be able to serve the people that I'm charged with and responsible for. But I think both of those are very valid and lofty reasons for education, because they both serve a very important purpose.
And the thing about it is they provide you with something. They provide you with something so that you can now provide something to someone else. So with that, we can actually wrap up this first episode of season 2. I'm not going to tell you exactly how many episodes are coming in season 2, but we can just take a educated guess and say that it won't be 20, just because I'm starting an MBA program. So we're going to get episodes out to you guys as we can. I don't know if it'll be 5 or 7 or 10 or 3. No one knows. He don't even know, and he's sitting right beside me.
I never know. I never know until we sit down here at the table what's going on.
You gotta keep
That's just the
people
way
on
it
their
is.
toes.
But you shouldn't keep me on my toes.
Gotta keep you sharp.
Man,
I keep myself on my toes. I didn't know.
yes, you did. I know you didn't just write this down just now.
Yeah, you're right. I wrote it down yesterday. But,
Well,
yeah,
I just saw it. I just saw it when I sat down at the table.
man, it is what it is, man. We need an executive producer, somebody that want to work pro bono.
Well, the thing about it keeps it real, and we're just real. We're not doing things. I'm not sharing information that's prepared, and Joshua's not either. I'm coming from my heart with this, and and I'm just real, and I think that's important because, there's no hidden agenda with us, and we're just keeping it real. And many people don't get the opportunity to hear the views of a 26-year-old and a 57-year-old at the same time, a father and son talking about things. And we're hoping that this is encouraging to you and maybe helpful to you as well. Maybe you can get some ideas and some thoughts and inspiration from these talks, but we're just being real, And I don't mind not being prepared because I'm not going to fake it anyway, but at least what you hear is what's in me that's coming out of me right now.
That's exactly why I don't do a super prep. So if you'll notice, the beginning of season 1, we had that. We had a list of topics, and it was almost an agenda for the episode. I don't really want to do that with season 2. I barely even have the topics we're going to talk about. I want it to be very raw because that's the feedback that I got on season 1 is that's what the people like. That's the best part about it is you get that honest look. You don't get something where somebody's selling you something where we're trying to advance our position off of this. It's like, nah, you really just get a real conversation. And we're going to keep it that way. So episode 2, more than likely, will build off of this episode 1. Thank you guys for listening. We'll have this out for you soon. Before we go, we just wanted to send some words of encouragement out to all of the kids and adults that'll be starting school this semester. This will be a tricky semester just with the COVID, social distancing. How are we going to do this virtual learning? There's a lot of variables, a lot of factors at play here. So we wish you all the best and hope that you guys stay up during this time. I'm going to be going through it with you. So all the pain points, think of it as a learning opportunity. Don't think of it as something that's just making it so hard or so unnecessary. Or think of it as giving you tools to conquer a situation down the road. So this virtual learning and all this tech that you guys are interacting with, that's going to be integral in the future. So the more you get familiar with this technology and these processes now, the better prepared you'll be then. So we just wish you all the best, all the kids, all the teachers. We hope you stay safe. We hope you stay sane. And we hope that you guys learn because you're going to need this information, if not the half-truths that they got written in the textbooks. You're going to need the social skills that you're going to gain from interacting with these people. You're going to need the discipline of the structure of the school program. So we hope that you guys enjoy it. And with that, we're gone. Well, that's an episode, bruh.
Yeah.
You want to do another one?